Greetings, this is John Willis from the Teachers as Leaders program, and I'm bringing to you Module 2 in a short video. It's titled Identifying and Developing a Personal Leadership Style. So to get started, let me show a short video clip from one of my favorite movies. See if you recognize this.
You know what that means? It's Latin. It means know thyself. I'm going to let you in on a little secret.
And of course, the secret is to know thyself and how to do that, at least with Module 2, brought to us from Mike Rutherford. In order for us to know ourselves as deeply as possible, we need to really be able to ask a few questions and be able to reflect on our temperament and our personality traits. And of course, we had the opportunity to do that with this DISC assessment. And I think Mike Rutherford really did a fantastic job presenting that to us. He really covered a lot of information, but he did it in a very humorous way, non-offensive, as he presented each of the temperaments and their unique insights to each one of those. So I really enjoyed that. And I've done several personality or temperament style assessments in the past, but nothing quite this meaningful. Okay, let me start by going over my DISC assessment. And here you can see from my home graph that I start in the absolute basement of the D temperament, and then I go about as high as you can go in the I, and then I drop down in the S and then in the C. But what's interesting at work, again, I start with the D and go high with the I, but I stay fairly high with the S and only come down minimally to the C. And when I reflected on that, I was trying to think what it is about my temperament that's so different in those two particular areas from home and work. And I really attribute this to being a science teacher. One, just being a teacher, having to be a little bit more extroverted, be able to communicate to a wide range of individuals at the workplace, from students to your colleagues and administrators, and also the problem solving that I've had to train myself to be able to do and to facilitate with students in terms of science. I think that's really changed my temperament. But nonetheless, the average of those gives us graph 3, and you can see here it's pretty much similar to the two combined. So what is this? What are some characteristics here? Well, over here I've got the promoter, and as we know, some of the characteristics of the promoter, they have their friendly, extensive network, promote ideas, and create enthusiasm for other people's projects, like to collaborate. They like acceptance from others. At the workplace, I'm more of the practitioner. The practitioner focuses on personal growth, developing mastery, specializing, technical problem solving. And my third graph is the counselor. And the counselor looks for good in others, acceptance of others, general happiness in all things. So I found this to be very, very interesting. So what I want to do is show you what Mike Rutherford had talked to us about. And it's that, of course, with Module 2, starting out with increasing the emotional intelligence by developing a deeper sense of our self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. And of course, to start doing that, you need to have information from the DISC assessment. So I'll call those the DISC insights. And then, of course, after that, we need to begin to increase our self-efficacy. There's different ways that you can do that. One of those would be a unique selling proposition, which I thought was really hilarious when Mike presented that to us. That's that duality that's created from a list of terms that we gain from the DISC insight. For me, it might be some terms like mild, enthusiastic, relaxed, analytical. And so the duality for me was being mild and laid back, but yet enthusiastic, being relaxed, and yet still being analytical. So The duality I came up with was teaching and learning made easy. Maybe Mike would say that was $1 million idea. I don't know. All right, next is the positive prophecy. So we got the unique selling proposition. We got our positive prophecy. And we even add to that our model resonant leader. And I think it's these three areas here that are really helping to increase our self-efficacy. How much we believe in ourselves and our ability to influence others, especially when it comes to student achievement. So positive prophecy is the way that we, not only how we think about ourselves, but how other people in the past have communicated some positive traits about us, and they've reflected those back to us. And so I've, tried to reflect back on that and consider some of the things that people have said about me that was positive that I could incorporate into my leadership platform that we're building here. And the model resident leader, looking back and finding some traits in other individuals where I have an affinity, maybe where I resonate towards. Some of those are going to be anywhere from principles that I've worked for, in which they exuded certain characteristics that I respected. Maybe people in history, religious or political leaders, and people from afar, people that's written books or given presentations, and just kind of listed out some of those characteristics. And then anyway, lastly, in our personal leadership platform is our dissonant traits. And for me, some of the dissonant traits has to be in terms of being too tolerant, perhaps, or indirect approach and not wanting to confront things straight on. Too trusting. Unrealistic expectations of others, and it goes on and on. So just being honest with yourself and taking some of those traits into consideration. All right, what I want to do here, put all these together as I, again, develop my personal leadership platform. And I'm going to take these and I'm going to bring them over to another portion of our platform. And so I have this platform I'm building, and I've got these 5 rungs, right? And these 5 rungs are composed of the DISC insights, unique selling proposition, which incorporates this duality of terms that I obtain from the DISC insight, a positive prophecy and model resonant leader, these ideas that help increase my self-efficacy, and then being honest and trying to avoid certain dissonant traits. Okay, so now I want to put my last rungs on this leadership platform, and these rungs are going to be the core values and your mission statement. And so this is the way that it was presented to us in Module 2, and I really thought this was a great way to identifying these inner traits to help you increase your personal leadership style. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is go over and just finish up this video by showing you an alternative way of looking at this. I love the leadership platform, but another way to think of this is a pyramid, just like we may have seen with maybe a food pyramid, for example, where the most amount of food that you would consume would be at the bottom of the pyramid, and the least amount that's not as high in nutrition might be at the top. So here, I think at the bottom is going to be core values. The foundation of our pyramid, at least for me, is going to be my core values. That's the way that I'm going to conduct my life. Next on the pyramid is going to be my mission statement. This is that compass that helps provide me direction. Next on the pyramid is the DISC insights. And the DISC insights, this is taking time to look at your temperament and be sure that you recognize certain things about yourself. This is knowing thyself, as we said at the beginning of the video. And from that, we develop a unique selling proposition, positive prophecy, and then look outward at some traits that we find in people that we respect, and see areas that we have an affinity where we can maybe model some of those traits and temperaments. So those three areas in the middle help increase our self-efficacy. And at the top is traits to avoid, those dissonant traits, where we just dig down a little bit, reflect each day, and make sure we try to avoid certain areas so that we continue to improve, because our ultimate goal is to improve. But you'll see that we spend probably the majority of our time and energy in developing this foundation to give us that direction. And here we want to really get to know ourselves, to increase our self-efficacy, and then consider a little bit from time to time traits that perhaps we need to work on. So that's all I have for Module 2. I appreciate your time. Thank you.